Once upon a time, there was a woman who woke up every Monday and stayed in bed a few minutes too long, convinced that something was wrong with her. There was nothing wrong with her. We all feel that way when we don't know what we're facing or what actually matters. Welcome to the life of an entrepreneur without a plan. And here's the funny thing about being an entrepreneur without a plan is that if she's a coach, she'll immediately think she needs coaching. She'll raise her hand, she'll go to the next group and say, "Hey, help me figure this out." If she's a real estate agent, she will check her email for something very urgent, which really is just saying, "Give me something else to worry about so I stop thinking that there's something wrong with me." And if she's a mom with a newborn, well, she didn't linger in bed because newborns don't allow you to linger in bed. That's not how that works. The baby woke her up hours ago. But here's what she did do. She worried instead of just enjoying that time nursing her baby, instead of enjoying one of the most miraculous moments in her life. Different stories, but the same sentence that's feeding them all. I'm already behind. And here's the truth that I want to offer you. The shame isn't because something is wrong with you. The shame is there because of simply that's what happens when our brain has no structure. It gets busy. So we're trying to solve for the shame by trying to get rid of something. And I'm recommending that we add something, add a little bit more structure. The shame is almost the default setting from thinking I'm already behind and then thinking I'm already behind because there's something wrong with me. So our brain just doesn't do well on default. It gets busy. It looks for danger. It starts scanning for problems. It invents a crisis where there is none. I became a coach because it gave something productive for my brain to do. And that worked really, really well until I pretty much had kind of solved all my actual apparent problems with time and relationships and organization and future planning. And my business was running smooth enough. And I didn't take on, and then I had clients, I had to work on their problems. But there became a day when I realized, oh, there are not enough problems in the world to keep my brain busy enough. I mean, it's almost creating its own problem. So I was busy scanning for problems and inventing crises where there wasn't one. My brain really did not know how to relax and enjoy a day, a moment, see the beauty of the present. And that's because the brain without structure will default to fear, not clarity. So it's interesting because my faith taught me this. I just didn't realize it. There's a wonderful verse that says, Philippians 4:8, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, if there be any virtue, virtue means excellence here, if there be any praise, think on these things. As in, our brain is default thinking on problems. We're going to have to intentionally tell it where we want it to go. So, if you don't tell your brain what to think about, it will look for something to fear about. Let that sink in. If you do not tell your brain something to think about, it will look for something to fear about. And it will start the moment we open our eyes. So let me offer you a better sentence in that moment when you wake up. You are not behind. You're simply the problem isn't motivation. The problem is clarity. Clarity always clears the chaos. Clarity always clears the chaos because clarity is stronger than the chaos. The chaos is what exists constantly, it's always available to us. And two people can look at the exact same situation, and one sees chaos, but the other sees clarity. And it's just by the quality of their thinking. They've learned to look at something with a structure. I used to look at a messy room and be completely overwhelmed. Where do I even start? Is what my brain was offering. And then after a while, I created a process that taught me where to start. As in, say it's a bedroom, sort all the clothes and start a load of laundry, get rid of all the trash, put all the things and start putting them away, make the bed. Actually, that is not my order at all. My order would be make the bed first so that you have a big clear surface to now start putting things away. That's the way that I would do it. But where do I even start? That is thinking inside the chaos, but stepping out and saying, let's go at this with a plan. That is clarity. That is bringing a process to any situation. When you start your week anchored, then your whole week is going to change. You will not dread Mondays. Now, you can start your week on Monday morning with the way that I'm going to teach you, or you could do it on Sunday night and then you can wake up Monday and roll into it. Either one works. In fact, I recommend that you experiment with it. Sometimes I like to do it on Sunday night so that I can roll into Monday. I rather wish I would have done that because I realized as I was working my own process, I had made a mistake on my calendar calculations, and I have exactly twice the amount of work to accomplish today than I thought I had. But I am not behind. I have a plan. I have a clarity plan that's going to lead me and keep me from being lost in the chaos. So, here's your new sacred sentence. I start my week with clarity, not chaos. Now, this is where the time rich woman framework really helps. This is where the time rich woman is different than most productivity systems. The time rich women understand something that most people never learn, and that's that you need two simple plans. First of all, there's a doing plan. This is the plan that gives you something to do instead of spiraling. And then when the steps are simple, you stop fearing the day. So it doesn't overwhelm you, it just gives you a plan. But secondly, you don't just need a doing plan, you need a thinking plan. A thinking plan tells your brain what to focus on before everything else in the world tells you what to fear. So, doing plan. Sometimes it can be as simple as a sticky note. Write down everything that needs to be done. But a thinking plan, and I'll go more into this in the next video, but a thinking plan is separate from the action. This is when you write down things that maybe you need to decide upon, or things that have you unsettled, or things that feel heavy. When you start to divide your week, your days, your planning even into a doing plan and a thinking plan, oh, it's going to be a game changer. Because when you need to get stuff done, you just go straight to the doing plan. But, and I can't say this enough, your life will be unanchored if you don't have time for the thinking plan ever. That needs to be done on a regular basis, once a week at a minimum, maybe once a day, depending on how many thoughts you have to think. I'm thinking of Winnie the Pooh right now. I think he sat down and he just had a time to think, think, think. But people that are in the doing of the plan all the time and never have a time to think are those people that find themselves climbing the wrong wall. They're accomplishing stuff. They're just accomplishing stuff that doesn't need to be accomplished. It's like leaning your ladder against the wrong wall. You climb the wrong wall. So, yeah, you got a lot done. But what does it matter if it's taking you in a direction that you didn't wish to go? That's why we need both. But we don't want to mix those two things up because they're two very different activities. So think of it as two ways. I have a doing plan and I have a thinking plan. I have a time to think about things long term. I have a time to think about things that are puzzling me and get to the root of it. This is where coaching, by the way, really does excel. As in sitting down with somebody, this is something that my clients have really appreciated is the designated time, an hour a week, to sit down and think things through. And then after having thought things through, they're able to plan the next week or the next month or the next year with more clarity. And then they're able to act more confidently. So a thinking plan is it's just organizing your mind in a different way. So a thinking plan tells your brain what to focus on. And it doesn't take long to do it, especially if you do it in a regular way and with a structured plan. And again, I'll make a separate video on a thinking plan because I don't know that anybody is talking about having a thinking plan and having a doing plan and not trying to do those two plans at the exact same time. So, when you combine a simple doing plan with a simple thinking plan, something beautiful happens. You stop feeling behind. You stop waking up with dread and you begin your week the way that you were designed to operate, anchored, peaceful, steady, ready to go. This is the level of peace that most of us only dream about. And I just want to say that this is a level of peace and this is a level of peaceful productivity that is available to all of us. Again, it just takes better thinking. So, if you would like to actually experience this, I can put a link in the description and you can book a clarity call and we will work through a doing plan and a thinking plan so that you can have the real felt experience of what it feels like to go forward with clarity. One of the stated goals of my clarity calls is this: to help someone find the one thing that is slowing them down or weighing them down, and then to come up with a solution to get past it together. Not having a thinking plan or a doing plan might be that thing for you. All right, so in conclusion, what if you are not behind? Thinking we're behind slows us down, it weighs us down. When I had the realization that I literally had miscalculated and I need to do twice the amount of work today that I had planned for, I didn't indulge in the thought, I am so far behind. I just created the doing plan and I'm getting to it. That is the benefit of, like I said, of having better thinking shape our better action. So you're not behind, you're just unanchored in the mornings. And the way you can solve that is by having a doing plan and a thinking plan, and perhaps doing them on Sunday night so that you can just roll into your Mondays with more ease, with no need for chaos and hecticness. Mondays are already rough, aren't they? Let's make them better. Let's make Mondays much better. All right. Any questions? Put them in the comments. I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to see what you guys think of the doing plan versus the thinking plan. And have you ever had the experience of getting lost because you were trying to do both of those at the same time? And oh, one thing I forgot to tell you. Don't forget, if you haven't grabbed it yet, grab your copy of the 60-second decision filter. This is the 1-minute decision filter. 3 simple questions that make that'll help you make faster decisions more confidently. It took me a long time to narrow it down quickly, but I did that because I know your time is precious and I want to honor that. So if you want to get that, make sure you look in the description. It'll be one of the links there. All right, talk to you next week. Bye bye.